Hello and welcome back to the continuation of Nonfiction November. Today I bring you a book talk about Furious Hours, Murder, Fraud, and the Last Trial of Harper Lee by Casey Cep. This book stands out to me as an exciting, true crime, non-fiction tale. Similarly to The Devil in the White City, this book feels like a novel at times. The book gives you the story of three different people, and instead of going back and forth from chapter to chapter, the author simply divided the book into three sections so that the story progresses from one character to the next. Our first character that we focus on is the killer. And I hope you will understand this book talk may sound a little spoilery, but these are historical facts that a lot of people know, so I hope you won't mind. And quite frankly, I have to give you some information in order for you to understand why the other people are involved in the story at all. This guy allegedly killed at least 5 people. He lived at a time in the United States when you could get away with just taking out an insurance policy on somebody and then killing them, apparently, and collecting the money from the insurance company. And he, I guess, realized that this could be a clever scam for him to get a lot of money. He was actually a reverend. He seemed to have a lot of girlfriends, and the narrative implies that some of these women were helping him to kill their romantic rival. So it's a fascinating story, but that character is only the first piece, because after he's killed, allegedly, at least 5 people, and by the way, I keep saying allegedly because he had an amazing attorney, and he never, ever got found guilty of these crimes. The police failed at their jobs even when it was really obvious about these alleged murders. He would leave the evidence out in plain sight, and he used the same techniques, the same kind of games and cons over and over. The story continues with the fact that at the funeral of the 5th victim, he was shot and killed. So there's an example of someone wanting to get justice on his own, since the United States criminal justice system, the police and law enforcement, were failing him. The attorney who had been representing the alleged murderer then turned around and represented his killer, which is just strange. You would think legally there's a huge conflict of interest there. But that gives us our second part of the book that goes into the life of this attorney, who was also a politician. Our third point of view character, which is really fascinating from a literary standpoint, is Harper Lee, the famous writer of To Kill a Mockingbird. Harper Lee had grown up as a child friend of Truman Capote. She actually helped Truman Capote to do his research and to write his famous work In Cold Blood. So Harper Lee wanted to have her own true crime work, so there she was in the courtroom watching the trial of the man who had killed the murderer. She collected all kinds of notes, but Harper Lee suffered from a problem, which was she had already become famous from writing To Kill a Mockingbird, and when she showed up in the local communities to interview people to collect research and data for her book, a lot of people didn't want to talk to her. I highly recommend this book. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars, which really rounds up to 4 stars. When I put it on Goodreads, I always have that conflict. If I feel it's 3.5 stars, do I give it 3 or do I give it 4? But I enjoy true crime, so even though other people have criticized this work as going into too much detail about the legal process, and before that, about the insurance industry, I was fascinated by all of it. I hadn't thought about the fact that there used to be con men running around taking out insurance policies on people, hoping they would die or purposely planning to get them killed so that they could collect money. I hope that you enjoyed the book talk today. Join me again next time. Peace.